Coming up on today's show, bombs and gunfire led to a deadly massacre at a mosque in Egypt over the weekend.
Plus, Nick Lachey is asking for the public's help to find the suspect who shot his employee in the face in Cincinnati.
Don't go anywhere. Studio G starts right now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Studio G. I'm Brianna Haney.
And I'm Michael Carmona.
Egypt is mourning the death of more than 300 Sufi Muslims after a mosque in northern Sinai was bombed and shot during Friday's prayers. Witnesses say that after the Sinai Mosque massacre, the gunmen ran out of the building waving ISIS flags.
Blood and gore soaked the mosque's carpet, splashed on the walls, and stained the pavement at the entrance. The authorities have banned the media from going to the site of the worst terrorist attack in Egyptian history, but CNN has obtained exclusive video and accounts from eyewitnesses. This young man's father was killed in the massacre. He recalls men in military uniform with long hair firing indiscriminately into the mosque. Off camera, another eyewitness says he heard the attackers shout they would kill all infidels. He said the militants had threatened this Sufi-built mosque 5 times in the past. The ISIS affiliate here, Wilayat Sina, or the province of Sinai, has yet to claim responsibility, but a statement from the public prosecutor said the attackers, numbering between 25 and 30, waved ISIS's black banner. For years, the Sinai has been a battleground between militants and the Egyptian state. In the chaos of the 2011 uprising that toppled the regime of Hosni Mubarak, thousands escaped from prison, many going to the Sinai. Shortly afterwards, one group, Ansar Bayt al-Maqdis, emerged, pledging its allegiance to ISIS in 2014, renaming itself Wilayat Sina. They waged a relentless guerrilla war against the army and the police, hiding among a population resentful of the heavy hand of the government in far-off Cairo. By some estimates, they killed more than 1,000 soldiers and policemen. Wilayat Sina claimed responsibility for the 2015 downing of Metrojet Flight 9268, killing all 224 passengers and crew. And it carried out a series of attacks in the Nile Valley, in December against a Coptic cathedral in Cairo, and this year boasted of attacking churches in Tanta and Alexandria on Palm Sunday. Friday's mosque massacre is the first time they target a Muslim house of worship, and that's a new and dramatic change in targets, warns analyst Hisham Helyer.
With the Christian attacks, it seemed to be aimed at creating some sort of divide within Egyptian society that radical groups could then take advantage of. They failed. And now they're just going after anybody that doesn't actually support what they want to do. And I think that that's really the message that people have to take away from this, that there is no type of target anymore when it comes to groups like this. Everybody's a target unless they're on their side.
Hours after Friday's attack, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi vowed to respond to the terrorists with brute force. Sheikh Gamal Awad, a cleric, came to visit the wounded in hospital. His prescription for the terrorists? No mercy. Killing them would be best, he says. To end the bloodshed in Sinai, more bloodshed. Ben Wiedemann, CNN, Cairo.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi vowed to respond to the massacre, believed to be the deadliest terrorist attack on the country's soil.
Starting now in Washington, they have a lot to do this upcoming week, from tax reform to the budget and avoiding the government shutdown to immigration reform. CNN reporter Oscar Jimenez has more on the story.
12 legislative days until the end of the year, and 11 calendar days until the government runs out of funding.
The fate of the party's in our hands, as well as that of the economy. The economy needs a tax cut, and the Republican Party needs to deliver.
Senate Republicans are still pushing to get their tax reform through, as both Republicans and President Trump are in need of a major legislative win.
I think the tax bill is going very well. We had a meeting on it today. It's going to be a tremendous tax cut, the biggest in the history of our country.
Monday, the president had lunch with members of the Senate Finance Committee, and Tuesday, he's expected to try and rally Senate Republicans ahead of a possible vote this week. House Republicans passed their version of tax reform before Thanksgiving. Now, in the Senate, it can only afford to lose 2 votes.
I can't imagine we're not going to support this at the end as a whole as the Senate.
And the deadline to avoid a government shutdown is December 8th, and lawmakers are already talking about another potential short-term extension to keep things running. They negotiated a similar extension back in September. Elsewhere, the deadline for flood insurance is less than 2 weeks away in the wake of 3 major hurricanes, and funding for some immigration-related issues could be lumped into the crucial spending bill.
For the DREAM Act, I think you could get strong border security and a break in chain migration. If you could put those 3 things together and put it on the end of the year spending bill, that'd be a heck of an accomplishment for 2017.
But the clock is ticking. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
Time is running out, and we'll keep you updated on the outcome. Retired astronaut Scott Kelly says the U.S. is the only nation who denies climate change.
Walnut turned into a crime scene early this.
As singer Nick Lachey is asking the public to help the person who shot an employee of his namesake Cincinnati bar in the face. Ellie Richardson is 27 years old and is sedated at UC Medical Center. Her condition is described as stable, and she is expected to survive.
I've seen that van around here before in the morning, around 7 o'clock in the morning, when I grabbed donuts right down here at the donut shop. And I remember that specific color in the tent. That's why that popped out to me. So it's very possible that maybe that's a local driver.
Police described the driver of the van as an African-American male with short hair, a slight beard, and it is said that he wore glasses. They are also searching for the van on footage.
A suspected shoplifter in Texas was shot and wounded after trying to scare police with a fake gun. The incident happened at the Park Shopping Mall in Arlington, Texas on Sunday. The officer was responding to a report that someone was stealing from the store. The officer was off duty at the time, but was still in uniform and took action. The suspect pulled out a fake gun on the police officer who was chasing him. The officer thought it was a real gun and shot the suspect, who is now hospitalized. No one else was injured.
Rain across western Washington has caused flooding all across Skagit County. The Skagit River reached its highest level in 11 years Thursday, causing major flooding in the towns of Hamilton, Mount Vernon, and Concrete.
We didn't get a lot that we needed. We didn't get any of our blankets. We didn't get any of our clothes.
Soaked, cold, and barefoot, standing outside a church parking lot in Hamilton is the last place the Potter family expected to spend Thanksgiving.
Flooded so fast.
Yeah, and before we knew it, we were covered.
Eli Potter says when the levee broke behind their home, in a matter of 2 hours, they were wading through water waist deep.
The water had come all into my yard, up to my stairs.
Floodwaters covered parts of Hamilton. 4 campers were relocated from this park on Thursday. Over in Mount Vernon, roads became rivers as cars got stuck and boats helped rescue people. Kaylee Martinson says flooding is nothing new in Skagit County, but for as long as she's lived here,
8 years.
She never expected to be affected.
The last I seen, I had what looked like someone opened up a fire hose and just let it go in my backyard. So as I was leaving town, I was crying like, oh my goodness, there's my house underwater. That is going. Just see you later.
Martinson will be spending Thanksgiving here at the First Baptist Church in Hamilton, where the Red Cross set up a shelter.
We're getting people with animals. We're getting people that have had no notice, people with access and functional needs.
More than a dozen families are spending the night here.
Very different.
It may be a different way to spend the holiday, but Shoemaker says this community always steps up. And while we were here, a turkey dinner was brought in by neighbors wanting to make sure people who can't be at home get a home-cooked meal.
Stuff happens, but we're all here and we got each other.
A turkey dinner with strangers around a plastic dining table at a church isn't exactly anyone's vision of Thanksgiving. But here, it's the true meaning of the holiday that really matters.
I'm thankful for my family and that we're alive.
Spending the holiday at a shelter may be a different way to spend Thanksgiving, but the community always steps up, and this day was no exception. The turkey dinner was brought in by community members who wanted to make sure people who can't be at home get a home-cooked meal.
The Division of Insurance is alerting Nevada consumers to be on the lookout for flood-damaged vehicles when considering purchasing a car in Nevada. It has been several months since the hurricanes hit the states, which led to thousands of vehicles being damaged and are now possibly making their way to Nevada. The recommended tips to purchasing a new vehicle are: shop at a reputable dealership or have a reputable mechanic inspect any vehicle purchased via a private party sale. Inspect the vehicle for a musty or moldy smell. Check out the headlights and taillights. If they appear foggy, they may have moisture trapped inside. And finally, look under the hood for any rusty cables or other elements. Coming up on Studio G, we have a special interview with a UNLV volleyball player to discuss how the team is preparing for this season's games.
We will be right back after the break.
I really enjoy doing my show. I love all types of rock, and that's why I'm doing Rock Through the Decades. We play the 50s all the way to today's rock music or rock bands. I want them to get the appreciation of how much rock has changed over the years and how it's still really great. You can never kill rock. I mean, rock is like the way to be, the way to go. The name of my show is Rock Through the Decades, and I am Rockin' Gemini. You can listen to this on the Rebel HD2 network.
Welcome back to Studio G.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Climate change is a big thing in our country, and we are the only ones who aren't concerned about pollution. We have Christine Amanpour and retired astronaut Scott Kelly discussing their thoughts.
Are you worried also about the status quo, and this is just how the Trump administration wants it to be when it comes to the climate? That's clearly must be your issue, having been up in space and seeing so vividly what's at stake down here.
Yeah, so we have a beautiful planet. We should be we should feel very fortunate. But parts of it are visibly polluted from space. And now we are alone in the world as the, not only the most powerful and the richest nation on Earth, but the only one that denies climate change. And I personally think that everyone should have the right to have their own opinion. What I have a hard time understanding is when you are not a scientist, when you are not a climatologist, for you to somehow say, well, those 97% of the experts that have studied this issue their whole lives, they're all wrong. And me, with no experience in this issue, with no background, with no understanding, I am right.
So I'm really into Al Gore. I remember the first Inconvenient Truth came out when I was in like 5th grade or something, but it kind of had a big impact on the United States. Did you see
I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's something I need to say. In regarding to climate change in general, all I can say is that the scientific evidence is there. People just need to look at it.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, it's everywhere. We've seen it all year long, really.
Yeah. Well, not just all year.
Yeah, but now let's talk about what's happened over the weekend in the sports world. The Miami Heat ended up hitting the century mark in their 100-93 victory over the Bulls. They had 7 points at the end of the first period after shooting 2-19 from the field. Neil Funk gleefully recognized that he had a monitor with a running stat of the shooting percentages and would count out the dwindling percentage with every miss. It was much more aesthetically pleasing from then on out, with the Heat having the ultimate advantage after scoring 38, 19, and 36 for the remaining 3 periods. Miami went easy for most of the game and succeeded when they had to. Congratulations to the Miami Heat for a great game. The Los Angeles Kings went up against the Anaheim Ducks this past Saturday night, and it was a very intensive game. The Anaheim Ducks started the punches on early in the game, but that didn't distract or get in the way of the Los Angeles Kings getting the win. Trevor Lewis scored in the 4th round of a shootout. The Kings ended a 3-game losing streak with a 2-1 victory this past Saturday night.
Golden State Warriors coach says human respect issue played a huge role in the team not visiting the White House in February.
Another reason why I think all of us in our team have a tough time with the president, because it's instead of unifying and trying to calm the storm, he's creating it over and over again. We see it with his tweets every day. So that was, he used the word sons of to talk about NFL players who have made it clear they're protesting racial inequality and police brutality. Those are sons of really, you're the president of the United States, you're going to call them sons of and you're going to call Kaepernick out for nonviolent protest, a staple of American democracy. That's really hard to deal with. And that was, for me, that was probably the hardest one to deal with. The personal slights that we've seen from Trump, I mean, you sort of get used to it after a while, you get numb to it, but that one really stung because it was so divisive and it was so angry and it just didn't make sense.
Now let's take a look at today's forecast with Michael Carmona. How's it looking, Michael?
Well, Bree, as you can see to my side, the temperature right now is 66 degrees, mostly sunny, fair weather. The highs is expected to be 73, and the lows is expected to be 50. And for our brief look into the rest of the valley, you can see that most of it is also at 66 degrees, with the notable exceptions being Centennial and Boulder at 64 and Nellis at 59. And for our brief look into the national forecast, I can see it's a mostly calm day with rain expected in Indianapolis and Kansas City and along with Orlando. Unfortunately, the people of Iran and Iraq cannot say the same thing, where earlier the border between the two countries was hit by a 7.3 magnitude earthquake. And our picture, courtesy of CNN, is of Sarpol-e-Zahab, where hundreds were killed. And this was just one of the many cities and villages along the border that was affected. And countless people here are without food and water. Our prayers go out to the people affected. And on a lighter note, our 5-day forecast for Vegas, you can see it gradually increases over the course of a week, hitting a high of 78 on Thursday, where on Friday it'll drop by 10 degrees and it'll end on Saturday at 65. And for those of you who are at UNLV currently, the temperature is 66 degrees, mostly cloudy. The visibility is at 10 miles an hour, calm winds, and the humidity right now is at 24%. And for those of you who need to stick around tonight, the low is expected to be 52 degrees. Again, still calm wind, clear, and the dew point is at 28 degrees. That is all I have for your weather forecast today. Coming up, Studio G reporter Caitlin Knapp is sitting down with the Dean of the William F. Hera College of Hotel Administration to discuss with him about the hospitality hall. Caitlin?
Thank you so much, Michael. Today I'm here with Julio Cesar, a UNLV men's volleyball player. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, of course.
So talk to me about the season so far. What's been going on with the volleyball team?
Well, right now our season hasn't necessarily started. It doesn't start till like the beginning of January. But we're currently in preseason and it's just been crazy. It's so crazy.
Okay. And then also, just real quick, sorry. Let me just take this real quick. We just had a little bit of a technical issue, but let me get this fixed for you. All right, we're so sorry about that. So just tell me again, how's the season going?
It's going good. We haven't started season yet because it doesn't start till the beginning of January. That's when the Las Vegas Open is. But we're in preseason right now and we're doing a lot of traveling, a lot of playing, a lot of scrimmaging. And with our new coach, it's been so crazy.
And take us kind of behind the scenes with like practice and a new coach. How's everything going with that?
Well, last year we were more self-run, so we know this is our first year having like a serious coach, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of the volleyball. It's been a lot of just serious like training, running, conditioning, lifting. If we do touch the volleyball, it's like just serious drills, just nonstop. But it's great because we need it, and we're doing really good. We're doing a lot better than last year.
So what's the feeling like of having a coach now? Obviously super different, but how does the team feel? How do you feel about it?
I feel great about it. Most people feel great about it, but some of us can be a little rebellious sometimes because, you know, we never had this guy telling us what to do for the last 3 seasons, and now we do, and it's just different. So we just have to take the time to appreciate him more. So.
Yeah, definitely. And then tell me a little bit about you. How long have you been playing volleyball? Just tell me a little bit about your journey to the team.
I've been playing volleyball for about 8 years, so I've been playing a really long time. This is my 2nd season with UNLV, and I kind of came up across it during like open gyms that they have here against one of the players. They invited me out and made the team, and I've been playing ever since. So. And
then talk to me about upcoming games. Obviously it's preseason right now, but what are you looking forward to? What might be some challenges along the way?
We're trying to finish again in the top 40, which we did last year, but we want to definitely come out top 1, maybe 2 in Mountain West because we're right there. We're like number 5, and a lot of the teams aren't looking as good as last year, and we're looking amazing. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going and just finish strong whole season.
And with all this training and conditioning that you're doing, you said you haven't touched a volleyball yet. What else are you doing to kind of prepare for that? You said you guys are number 5 in the Mountain West. How do you plan to get up to number 1?
We just want to be we just need to like earn points that we're not supposed to earn. We need to be the team that people don't expect us to be. So we just need to come out fighting every game, always be super hype, and we're better than most of these teams anyway. We just destroy ourselves emotionally like all the time. But yeah, it's basically just get our mind in the game and we'll be fine.
And kind of outside of volleyball, is there anything that you guys do as far as morale building with the team?
Yeah, we do team stuff all the time. Like we're never not hanging out with each other. So we're always making sure we have that connection, you know, between each other because we have to trust one another on the court because it's bad. We've seen it. Like it's bad when we have bad connections. So we're always hanging out. We're always doing things together. But that's usually what we're doing. It's just kicking it and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. Once again, thank you so much, Julio Cesar, for coming in. No worries. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll give you your entertainment news for today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's awesome. I didn't know what I was getting into. I thought it was just going to be fun, just me in a room playing music. And it's blossomed into something beyond what I imagined. Like, people just love it. There's like, a lot of people are eager and excited to be a part of UNLV Radio. A lot of people didn't even know UNLV had a radio station, so I'm glad to be bringing that awareness to the Vegas community.
It feels great. You know, it's a great accomplishment because it starts as something that nobody knows about. You get to build it from the ground up. So it builds your work ethic. It also gives you a sense of accomplishment when it's like, man, we made it. We did something. We made something that nobody else has made. So
it's great to be part of the student community and having to bring something to the student body with music, which is one of my passions.
I feel like it's giving me a voice, and not just for me, but for people who just have something they are passionate about. And I just want to, keep that conversation going and let other people see what we're talking about here.
It's amazing to have an opportunity to play whatever it is that you want to play. It's also a great way to connect and meet with new artists, great people, just music lovers in general.
What's up, it's your girl Scribe Cash. This is
The Prince Madison. This is The Takeover.
Played by the video game's live orchestra.
Yeah, on Twitter, @MilesLowMusic and
Welcome back to Studio G.
Here are some of your latest entertainment news. We're going to have a lot of broken hearts out there after I share this news with our viewers, especially for the ladies. Prince Harry is officially engaged to American actor Meghan Markle, and they have described their joy of being engaged and spending their lives together. Just hours after the news broke of their engagement, they appeared together at Kensington Palace to celebrate the news and pose for their engagement photos, as well as having a sit-down interview about their engagement that aired last night. According to the Clarence House, the wedding will take place in spring 2018. It will be the biggest royal wedding since their brother Prince William walked down the aisle with Kate Middleton in 2011.
UNLV men's basketball Brandon McCoy was named 2017 and 18 preseason Mountain West Freshman of the Year. He averaged 21.3 points, 13.7 rebounds, and 2.7 block shots in victories over Rice, Utah, and Southern Utah. McCoy also made 61.1% of his shots and 90.9% of his free throws.
Childhood obesity rates are high. That's why in 2006, the American Heart Association and the National Football League teamed up to create the NFL Play 60 Challenge. The challenge is a 4-week program that inspires kids to get their recommended 60 minutes of physical activity a day. 4th and 5th grade students at Josh Stevens Elementary School are the winners of the First Raiders NFL Play 60 Challenge in Las Vegas. Today from 2 to 3 p.m., the Raiders will visit the school to host a pep rally and youth football camp. The Golden Knights announced naughty or nice ticket packages. The Golden Knights president announced yesterday that the holiday packages are now on sale for the holiday season. The packages start at $299 for upper level seats. Each feature 2 tickets to 3 different Golden Knight games and a $50 food and beverage credit to be used at the T-Mobile Arena for the Golden Knights games.
98 Degrees will be live at Primm Valley Casino Resorts. Tickets are now on sale for their At Christmas tour on Saturday, December 23rd, featuring holiday classics from their new album, Let It Snow. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the shows begin at 8 p.m. Tickets are at $20. Band members Nick Lachey, Drew Lachey, Jeff Timmons, and Justin Jeffrey will be performing their hit songs. The iconic pop group reunited this year to release their second Christmas album, Let It Snow, as they celebrate the 20th anniversary of their first release on Motown Records.
We're taking a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get into the holiday spirit.
Don't go anywhere. You're watching Studio G.
Your community's farmers market. Welcoming, lively, friendly. A place where neighbors and friends come together to celebrate their community. With over 50 vendors, organic, sustainable, fresh produce are available just for you. Support and buy local at Fresh 52.
Welcome back to Studio G. With the holidays just around the corner, Christmas tree retailers across the nation are facing a massive Christmas tree shortage. So find out how the Evergreen Christmas may impact your holiday plans. We sent Studio G reporter Brianna Haney down to Christmas Ranch Tree Farms to talk to the owners about the crisis.
Every year, millions of Americans buy Christmas trees as a symbol of the holiday season. But this year, experts say a shortage is sweeping the nation, making trees harder to find and driving up prices for consumers.
I remember paying like $40 maybe for a tree, and now it's like $50, $60.
Meryl Guzman and her son Maximiliano drove more than 40 miles to get their Christmas tree this year.
I actually looked it up online to see if there was like a farm here close to us. We actually live in Boyle Heights, so we came all the way from Boyle Heights over here to look for a Christmas tree.
But the shortage isn't just impacting customers. Maryland and Donald Cameron own Christmas Ranch Tree Farms in Thousand Oaks, California. They say they've avoided some of the strain by growing their own trees, but have still felt the effects of the nationwide shortage.
With the pre-cut trees we bring in, there has been a shortage because they've sold a lot of them up. Well, there was a downturn back in 2008, so the people in Washington and Oregon who were growing the trees weren't growing as many because they weren't selling them. And so there's a shortage of trees there.
The Camerons have been selling Christmas trees at this location since the 1970s, but this year they say they've had to get some of their trees from Ontario, Canada. And although there may be a Christmas tree shortage across the nation, these Christmas tree farmers say it's likely going to be their busiest season on record.
Probably busier than ever. It is every year because there are so few tree farms around. And like you said, if there's a shortage with the tree lots, if other tree lots are having problems, they may come here either for our pre-cuts or try to experience it.
But the Camerons aren't the only ones feeling the pinch of the Christmas tree shortage. Here in Las Vegas, the average 6 to 7 foot Christmas tree can cost up to $70 depending on the location, and there are over a dozen locations to choose from across the valley. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Brianna Haney.
It's that time of year again, final exams, and like many others, us college students can get a little stressed out from the constant studying and pressure to pass. Studio G reporter Caitlin Knapp is in the newsroom with some simple tips to help you beat the stress.
Hey everyone, so finals are about 2 weeks away and everybody is already stressing out for finals, but
I'm so sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties right now, but Caitlin has some great tips that include having water, having snacks around, and taking time to make sure you get enough rest before exam day. A lot of people tend to stay up all night and cram in for that exam, but studies show you'll do a lot better if you just
yeah, it's important to take your time and just like prepare like days before.
Exactly.
And do it in bits,
Michael.
not the entire thing. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today.
Join us tomorrow for more news. Have a great day, Rebels.